thing. We go rock, beams, no idea. Big live streamed on the Zwift channel. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Beeves is in the house.
Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Zwift Live broadcast of the Z Racing Series. We're on stage number 5 of this series for October and a little bit into November. And today we're out on what was a secret course, a surprise course for us with the new update, but it is going to be Going Coastal. If you haven't checked it out already, Going Coastal has, well, the new roads for the southern coast have been released, and Going Coastal is one of the new routes. We're going to be taking on Fuego Flats all the way into about halfway into the new roads. The A category has gotten out on course. We'll be going over to the B's and C's and the D's as quickly as we possibly can after the A's finish. But it's an interesting course out here, Dave. Let me see if I can show it real quickly here, Dave. It's actually going to be Sprinter's delight, essentially, because it is extremely flat. But some of the cool. Have you seen any of the new roads, Dave? I mean, they are really, really cool.
Yeah, only through your eyes, actually. Your excitement when, well, I don't want to give away any of the things to look forward to out here, but there's some tremendously exciting moments that I'm anticipating here. It's only 19K today, but a lot of excitement in the last week in the world of Zwift, and this is exactly why. So this would all be familiar right up until there.
Yep, exactly. Right until we hit the Vegas-like section, I think, of Fuego Flats. Only going halfway through the southern coast, though, so we get to maybe see Bigfoot, but outside of that,
you just gave away the whole thing.
So we maybe don't get to see Bigfoot, but we'll see perhaps about that. Yeah, go watch the wrap, though, if you want more about all the things when it comes to this. Okay, let's get right down into it.
You lose your mind if you go back then now and watch that episode. It's the most recent rap that Anna and Nathan put up. I also love the fact that Anna kind of foreshadowed this little
turn off. Yeah,
it's fair to say, right? I mean, she saw the potential for a turn-off route.
100%. I really was excited about that as well. That her predictions about where in the jungle she's got an eye for it all. She's 100%. She really has an eye for it all. So, well, the A category, you know, we missed a little bit of the start. We'll give you a little bit of replay of how things played out for the. I mean, there's a lot of attacks going on. Tons of them.
You kind of already know these roads as well, right?
Yeah,
They're just leading. This is the prelude to the dream.
One thing I gotta say though is John Verne has continually been on the attack, which is really interesting to me that he's continually been on the attack, because this guy is a sprinter, loves the sprinters, and this is a sprinter's course, but he has decided to just continually press the pace. I think it's because these guys from ESRT want to set the fastest time they possibly can, so they continue to send riders off the front to keep the pace over 50 kilometers per hour, I think, the entire way. Now Oxen is doing the same. I think there's an agreement going on here, Dave.
Yeah, we talked about it last week about this becomes almost a 60-man team time trial, or 60 person team time trial. And I think you're exactly right, Nathan. These guys are all here to get a very fast time, just to bring you up to speed if you're jumping in. And I know a lot of folks are probably really excited about seeing the new additions. But we've been racing. This is stage 5 each week. For each stage, you have as many cracks at it as you can really want to take, looking for your best possible time. That means that getting in a good group that wants to race collectively, kind of like the Borg as a unit out there, well, exactly what we're seeing right now, to tell you the truth. Nathan, you would be loving this. I mean, everybody's getting a great workout, coming up and over the top when they can. You probably won't see many riders spend more than, 20 seconds with their nose in the wind before somebody else comes through to relay them. So this is going to be really quick. You were talking about 50 kilometers per hour. That's going to be 30 plus miles per hour. That is flat out flying, whether in real life or on Zwift out here. So good job, Michael Podsaline, the firefighter out of Connecticut there for Wahoo LaCour. They got some big engines here, Nathan. Expect this could be one of, especially with the I call it the broadcast factor, the broadcast bump. These guys should be even more motivated than ever to crush it.
You do see the being thrown down, I think, coming on through this section of course. Kind of interesting. One thing I'm going to double check here is when the next banner is, because they are going to get another power up coming through the sprint banner, the first sprint banner on the southern coast actually. So they will have another addition for a power up, so that is why they were able to use that one through that little uphill in this oasis area. One of the things they would talk about, I saw on some of the forums and some chatter, was perhaps the idea of having some new roads in this area as well. I don't know if you ever noticed some of our old introduction videos that we had made way back in the day when Fuego Flats was first released, went up and over the top of that oasis, and actually up and over the top of it was a gigantic pool of water that we just went under. So when you see those little waterfalls coming down through that oasis, there's actually pools of water up on top that's coming out of. And what would be really interesting if we were to climb up there and then down the backside and out into this massive desert, because we can actually show it to you, which right here, if you see at the top here, we just went through this oasis up toward the upper right-hand corner of this desert area. And then that giant pool, that is where all that water is dropping down from. And what would be kind of interesting is, I mean, look at all this unused land out here. Massive amounts of it. So I wonder if there's maybe something that may be coming down the line. Obviously, we're getting way in the weeds of all things when it comes to the reality of what could be possible out on Zwift here.
Well, the Toll Condominium Corporation has actually invested in some land out there, and they've got some plans that they would dovetail quite nicely to some Zwift routes coming through. Huh. Just saying.
That's the
yeah. It's. I'll tell you, it's out of your price range, Nathan. Don't worry about it. So, hey, I saw Charles McCarthy in the mix here today. Good old Charles. He's another one of the tremendous forces for positivity in our Zwift community. He's riding from Maine.
Yeah, I don't know that.
That's the shooting.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, duh.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad.
No,
okay.
not duh. Sadly, Nathan, in America, there's so many of these that you can barely keep track. So, Charles, I appreciate your sentiment.
At first, I thought it was a new team name, but now that makes a lot of sense. He's really doing that for sure. And there is, I know with his community, he's a little bit closer there, and I am part of the Glosio Discord, and I have seen some of the individuals in there talking about being close to the reality there. So good to see him showing that support.
I'm not going to name the athlete just out of privacy's sake, but there's a friend of mine that's deaf and rides on Zwift. I communicate with, we do, Nathan, don't we? Quite a bit with a bunch of people. Nothing new there. But this shooting that Charles is referencing there heavily impacted the deaf community in Lewiston, Maine. They all get together and play corn. It makes me so sad. It really does. So best thing you can do when you're sad, Nathan, or when you're hurt, is get on a bike and ride. 100%. Get those positive endorphins going to your brain. And just like every time, I want to talk about the action because there's going to be Torben Oxen. Nathan, the Danish rider, super strong. What do these two got up their sleeve right now?
Yeah,
it looks like,
Dave.
yeah.
I think on
the
flat
Polish
courses
rider,
like
Glors.
this, what's interesting is there's a lot of motivated individuals to jump across, you get a couple up front, and then you leave behind the individuals maybe that aren't quite as motivated. And the only thing, here's the thing, is if there's enough to get across, well, perhaps a little bit. And then they end up just sitting in a grave that is the pack, right? Like, that's what ends up happening.
100%. Let me tell you something about that dead weight, Nathan, as you would well know. You drag around a sprinter long enough, let them sit in the slipstream, they all of a sudden, like if a horse that can smell the barn from a mile away, their energy level and ambition changes dramatically when they can smell the finish line or see the finish line. And that's exactly why you want to, I mean, dead weight is a joke, but when you have riders sitting in a group, if it's going to be a sprint, which this most likely will be, again, today we're out here trying to get a best GC time, but also racers going to race. And these guys are absolutely going to throw down, whether it's a sprint or trying to chase back a late attack. Either way, it turns into a frenetic finale. Hey, what can we do, Mark Baker?
Yeah, we're getting lots of comments in game here. I'm liking it. Really appreciate them all. Left-hand turn here, everybody. If you have not seen these sections of course yet, well, here we go. We're about to hit up that southern coast, and there's going to be a lot of new images. You might also notice that the game has slightly changed in look. We've got a little bit more vibrancy that has been added, actually, both in graphics and how it's presented to us, as well as some additions when it comes to the foliage and other things. Like some of the depth to the graphics have been changed a little bit too. You'll notice that more shadows, and there's just going to be a higher level of graphical output. So if you have noticed that change, it's not just your eyes. Zwift definitely has done some little bit of development on upgrading all of the worlds here. So it's pretty cool to see, liking it. And Watopia specifically, though, getting this little bit of beautification as we hit the southern coast here. You're going to see a whole lot of what I've been calling a Pacific Northwest type of look to it, as we head into what seems to be somewhat of a fishing village here that the riders are going to go into. Now, my question is, are the riders going to be taken up by the racing, or are they going to be looking at the scenery as we head out over toward the crab shack? You know, I was wondering where we were in the world, and then when I saw that crab shack, I was like, I'm sorry, this has to be North America.
Mind is blown right now, Nathan. So, Kurt Beidler, the co-CEO for Zwift, lives up in Seattle. A bunch of the team for Zwift are from Seattle, and I don't know it would be possible. We did an event there last February where I jokingly said, you know, Pacific Northwest, playing to the home crowd. I fully acknowledge that, but that's where my dad lives. I fully love everything about Pacific Northwest. And you hit the nail on the head. That's exactly what this feels like. But the developers for this, writing all of the amazing code, they had to have been working on this well before February of last year, or of this year, I should say, 2023. You're going to hear me say "wow" quite a few times, Nathan, no doubt. I feel like we're riding outside of Port Angeles right now. Or maybe the Olympic Peninsula is definitely the vibe that you've got here. So, just really impressed. And you're right, you feel that the graphics and the rendering.
Those yurts, those are yurts, aren't they, Dave?
Yeah, 100% that's a yurt. Absolutely, which you would see in the Cascades. This Cascadia region of America, it's a completely different climate zone. Obviously, rain, really lush. So, a nice moment to appreciate all that hard work that went into this. I didn't necessarily think that we'd ever see these dramatic improvements or additions, is a better way to put it, in Watopia. This is going to be Jean Roch that we're looking at now, the Newberry rider here, who's just going to get brought back into the fold again. We're with our A's. It's not a long day in the saddle. It's a quick taster. Wet our beak a little bit here in Watopia. 19 kilometers of racing, and already 12K in, Nathan, so we're moving into the finale pretty quickly with a group that, we started with 66 A's. They've dropped a few off along the way, but for the most part, group remaining relatively intact.
Yeah, if you head downhill a little bit, as you can see, it is fairly undulating through all of here. It's flat. It is flat-ish. And there's a whole big shipwreck on the left-hand side here. So
riding today.
It's really great really, really great scenes we're going to get all the way through here. It does look like we are getting a couple of riders dropping off the pad. Perhaps, or is it just really bunching up? Or perhaps it's just really bunching up here. As we head back uphill with a 2% gradient, and the first sprint point's going to be coming out. Now, there is no award for the sprint point out here today, other than perhaps a little bit of bragging points. Outside of that, the finish line will be a little ways up from that first sprint point. So my wondering is if we're going to hit the... Yeah, and I'm wondering if we're going to hit, actually, speaking of, if there is, we're going to be able to get to the town section, because that section, of course, you'll see a lot of construction on the right-hand side of the road. And there was some discussion from the devs saying that this area, this southern coast, is not just for the new roads, but it opens up a lot of opportunities for new roads around Watopia to other sections of Watopia. Super interesting. This is the Woodland Sprint coming up here, though. It is negative 8% gradient, and it's a half the K, 500 meter sprint, if I'm not incorrect.
Yeah, well, Voetlander here. Look how the Dragons are showing up today. Jan, Kirkfield, Leonard, Nikolai, Stefan, Volker, the whole crew rolling in this group today. This is going to be, every now and then, Nathan, it just takes your breath away when you see what they're doing out here. Going coastal out here today. Back with Colors, the Polish rider. He's been a force to be reckoned with, opening up another damage. So this is where they're going to be picking up their final power-up of the day. No points, though. We're racing scratch race to the finish line.
But I actually missed it, what the power-ups were on the day today, so my bad on that. Let's see if we can figure out exactly which one. It looks like everything's available here. I mean, I'm seeing feathers, I'm seeing draft, I'm seeing arrows, and maybe no arrows, actually. So it looks like I haven't seen a single arrow yet, I don't believe.
It's draft and feather.
Draft and feather, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Riders,
classics, right? The original hits. When you go see REM, you want them to play the hits, right? Not their new stuff.
They're coming in pretty quickly. About 5K to go. Going along this coastal line. They're going to hit up. I think they are going to be able to go through that little city in a moment here, and maybe make it all the way to the transition area between, because it goes from Pacific Northwest pretty quickly to what is almost South American or Mediterranean.
So since we've already spilled the beans on Sasquatch, or what are you calling Sasquatch? I forget what that's the Pacific Northwest term for
yeah, I mean, Bigfoot, Sasquatch.
Asia, the abominable snowman.
Yeah, Yeti or Yeti. But
Yeti.
See, I think Yetis are very specifically from snow areas, though. Like, I feel like...
Yeah, I would say Yetis are more Asian. Right? I
think
like on Mount Everest or something.
Yeah,
right?
Yetis tend to live in snow areas, whereas Sasquatches are in these wooded type areas. Yeah, so let's see what Chat's going to have all kinds of opinions about that. You know they're going to call him Squatch. Nickname him Squatch. I like it. I like it.
Yeah. There's a whole, if you're not in the United States, you probably wouldn't have picked up on this nuance, but there's been, over the last 20 years, sort of like UFOs, there's a whole conspiracy theory about those type of characters, the Squatch that we're talking about. Where was it, Nathan? Where did you see Squatch?
It'll be through the second time entering the woods after this. You have these little cabins, and then I believe we go through the town. I'm not sure we're going to make it to the town and then past it. We'll see. Cora's now attacking again, it looks like here. EP now on the front, good to see him as he makes his way through this little cabin section. Now we're going to start seeing some of the hints. You'll see Bigfoot crossing signs. You will see, or Sasquatch crossing signs, and then you will see some, what's really great is the town, you can tell has developed a tourist type vibe around the idea of finding this Sasquatch. You can actually see this right up behind you. You see that the train that goes through Eagle Florida Flats hits up there underneath that waterfall there. There actually is a train that's not abandoned up there for the railroad. That is a section that the train goes through as well. And then, as you can see, there is the sign. Little ride on there with the Sasquatch. He's got a ride on. Did you see that sticker on his thumb? I absolutely love that. And then there's a great sign in the town that says, leave something about believing the story or believe that there's actually Sasquatches existing.
Well, you don't want to hit one, and that's what they're warning you for, a Sasquatch crossing is what that first sign is. Just keep your head up. You got to be aware, right? Sasquatch is a wild animal. It doesn't know how roads and traffic work. So that's on you. Not hit it. All right, back to the action here. Nathan, we're going to get right down to this one here. We've got just over 2K of racing. These are A's, which are going to be the fastest group today, but we'll have a nice chance to jump in with the BCs and B's out here. So this is getting frenetic now, Nathan. You can see at the front here, little gaps starting to open up, but as they put the accelerator down on the floorboard, now is when you really start to realize if anybody's got the ability to attack over the top of this, and you don't want to sprint today with riders like John Vanner, absolute legend in the world of sprinting. I'm looking too that Jan Eifert, Nathan, he along with his Dragon teammate Kirkfield put up some big numbers. Actually also on that team is Leonard Wayenkamp. So we got some big hitters ready to throw down, but in order to win, you got to be in the front group.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting here on this flat course how to set this up. It's the first time actually commentating or watching or being any part of a sprint like this. So it's going to be really, for me, it was first time seeing how this one sets up and where you want to go for this. How the timing's going to play out is going to be very interesting to me. I'm going to see if we can find exactly the riders to keep an eye on. I mean, at 129 beats per minute here, Flores always one to be watching out for from the WEZ team right now. I have a feeling he's going to be a good rider for us to keep an eye on. But Flores now giving a go off the front. No HR monitor. I think we may be required in this. We'll have to wait and see how that ends up playing out for him. But it's going to be 1K to go or so, Dave. 1K to go. It is going to be at that sprint banner. It's coming up ahead. Already got a Jackie Power being thrown down maybe a little bit early, but I think we are going into another what looks to be uphill grind. It is a 350-meter sprint, David, to start to ramp on. Oh, here comes Sean Worms. Worms going to be definitely one to watch out for this, Dave.
It's incredible. You get to start building up all these data points. So remembering where that blue house is on the left, everything together here at this point, you can see left, right, and center. The power-ups are being thrown up here, Nathan, so everybody's going all in now, completely committed to this finish. Obviously, John Vanham is going to be a rider that we're watching. Can the Dragons pull a rabbit out? They had this sprint, has engaged. So here we go. We are locked and loaded. This is not a drill, as they are flat out flying to the finish line here, Nathan.
Firm to the top. It looks like 15 watts per kilogram. We picked the right one. Let's go on there. The prediction was right, Dave. Watch out for him. Uphill grind. Perfect timing. Great to see. ESRT making it happen at 23 or 30 almost. It looks like they were able to pull off. Pretty awesome to see. And Dave, look at this. These guys still have 2K to go. That's how fast those A's went, Dave.
Well, they were on a mission, weren't they? I mean, they were racing for their GC time all day.
Flying. I mean, we'll get a look at that.
What was the average speed? Yeah, what was the average speed? I mean, when you talk about a group that strong, that committed, everybody more or less followed the script, and they all benefited from that. John Barham is a world-class sprinter, so it all sorted out the way I think it should. So these guys, no shame in this game, Nathan. They're flying as well, as our Bs are going to be getting stuck in with the sprint. It looks like, can you imagine trying to attack out of this group? Well, it looks like some riders can, as there goes Gudjonsson. I remember his name from last week. Hansen is up there as well. So the usual suspects starting to have their impact now, just over a kilometer of racing now on a brand new, sparkly, fresh course. So fresh, so clean.
Real quickly, I want to highlight on the left-hand side the sprint times there. 1953 coming in from, it looks like, Duval, actually. So, 10th of a second faster. Just, it's not about the fastest time, obviously. It's about the first across the line, but it looks like he was able to time it well to get an extremely fast time. Here we go with the ramp up again. Watch out for that blue house on the left-hand side. There's a downhill into an up, I believe, here. Early go here from Brzezinski. It's going to be Alex there from SZ as well here, but Kaboom RT is going 14. This is really early, Dave.
Well, Nathan, you talk about it, though. The Zwift craft here, it's a down into an up, right? So it's going to be all about carrying your speed through that dip. Like, imagine a roller coaster, and here we go into the kick finish line right there. Look at the rider in red. Oh, man. That's going to be drafts. Bowen, our man.
Bowen,
so
man. I saw him in the pack, and I was like, that's the one to pick.
That's the best, man.
Yeah, I thought it was either going to be him or it was going to be, I think an OUT rider. Or there was a couple of others right next to him, but I was like, I think Bowen's going to pull it off.
Yeah. So Bowen has been so consistent out here in our Bs. I have a feeling the next time we check in with Ned, he'll be an A, Nathan, the way he's been racing. So great job today, Ned.
Don't push him too hard on that. He probably doesn't like what you're saying one bit there.
You know what? When you start winning, that feeling, Nathan, I've always recommended this for athletes at every level, especially here in America with USAC athletes. It's like, look, if you're a Cat 3 and you win your first bike race, don't necessarily automatically think you need to upgrade now. Go ahead and get the feeling of winning. Understand the craft of being at the front of a bike race. Because when you upgrade into the 1-2s, you're going to get a whole new feeling for the back end of the peloton again. So enjoy it for a little while, right? You'll know when you're ready to move up. You'll also know when you're sandbagged.
Loving it. So looking through, we got Beaverbrook's here at the back.
You know what sandbagging is, right?
Yes, of course. I know exactly what sandbagging is. In mountain biking, we have all kinds of comments about that.
I think it's universal to sport. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's definitely a thing.
Evil Bronx is back. So, Nathan, what was the movie again?
Hitchhiker's
Guide to the Galaxy. Yeah. Playing on that, which is something we love in our community, for sure.
Looking through here, I think the one to watch out for, there's plenty of them, but Tom Gregory in this sprint, perhaps there was a go at very early. I don't know if we're going to be able to catch this, because this is flying on. As we go, perhaps, yep, there we go. He lost here coming out of Germany.
Here is.
He's got 2 seconds, Dave. This is going to be close. He's going to have to continue, though.
Hello, Houston. They got a problem because you can see the rider who's 2 seconds back is not in the slipstream nor providing a slipstream for everyone. I think Eris might have this one.
Maybe. Mitchell's coming. Here comes the pack. They're flying, Dave. Workman
It late.
right to the line. Oh, nipped him.
Oh,
Smith.
they got him.
Nice one from Smith there.
Never give up.
ART. Wow, I thought for sure that he had gotten away with that, but no go.
He needed one more watt. One lousy watt.
Just one.
Yeah.
That
it feels
one.
good
That was
being
a
on a
really
new
good
course.
one. It does. It totally changes things up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean,
good
you really
energy, fresh.
You get a whole new vibe to it, and it's not. It's unpredictable a little bit, so you get a little bit more. I don't know, like what is it about that unpredictable?
Yeah, you don't. I mean, life is more exciting life's more exciting, Nathan, when you don't know what's around the corner. That's for sure. So back with the D's now. They've got 2-ish K to go. The ish being about 200 meters. So very quickly they'll be into the penultimate K here.
Just crushing daddies. I'm seeing Turner there. Taylor's here.
Love
Pedro as well. Llamas and Zed Bro giving a little bit of kick. Watch out for